In Python, variables are used to store data that can be accessed and manipulated by the program. A variable is a named storage location in the computer's memory, and it can hold different types of data, such as numbers, strings, or Boolean values. In Python, you do not need to declare a variable before you use it. You simply assign a value to a variable using the equals sign, equals. For example, in this example, we declare two variables named x and y. The first variable, x, holds an integer value of 5, while the second variable, y, holds a string value of hello, world. Python has some naming conventions that should be followed when naming variables. These conventions help make your code more readable and understandable to other developers. Here are some of the most common naming conventions. 1. Use lowercase letters for variable names. 2. Separate words in variable names using underscores. 3. Do not start variable names with numbers or special characters. 4. Use descriptive names that reflect the purpose of the variable. Python has a set of reserved words that cannot be used as variable names. These words are used to define the syntax and structure of the Python language. Here is a list of reserved words in Python. When a variable name consists of multiple words, you should use underscores to separate the words. This is called snake underscore case. This makes the variable name more readable and understandable. For example, another naming convention is called camel case, where the first word is lowercase and each subsequent word starts with a capital letter. This is commonly used in other programming languages, but is less common in Python. For example, choosing meaningful and descriptive variable names is an important part of writing clean and maintainable code. By following Python's naming conventions and avoiding reserved words, you can create variable names that are easy to read and understand. You can assign multiple values to multiple variables in a single line of code. This is useful when you need to assign multiple values to multiple variables at the same time. There are two ways to assign multiple values in Python. 1. Assigning values to multiple variables at once. In this example, the values 1, 2, and 3 are assigned to variables x, y, and z respectively. You can also assign the same value to multiple variables at once. In this example, the value 0 is assigned to variables x, y, and z. 2. Using tuple unpacking. In this example, the values tuple is unpacked and the values 1, 2, and 3 are assigned to variables x, y, and z respectively. You can also use list unpacking to assign multiple values. In this example, the values list is unpacked and the values 1, 2, and 3 are assigned to variables x, y, and z respectively. Note that the number of variables on the left side of the assignment operator must match the number of values on the right side. Otherwise, you will get a value error. Assigning multiple values in a single line can make your code more concise and easier to read. It can also be useful in cases where you need to swap the values of two variables. In this example, the values of x and y are swapped in a single line of code. This is equivalent to the following code. Assigning multiple values in Python can be done in multiple ways and can make your code more concise and easier to read. It is an important technique that you should be familiar with as a Python developer. In Python, you can output the value of a variable using the print function. The print function is a built-in function that takes one or more arguments and prints them to the console. To output the value of a variable, you simply pass the variable as an argument to the print function. In this example, the value of the variable x, which is 10, is printed to the console. You can also output multiple variables in a single line of code by separating them with commas. In this example, the values of x and y are printed to the console separated by a space. You can format the output of variables using string formatting. String formatting allows you to include variables in a string and format them in a specific way. One way to format strings in Python is by using f-strings. An f-string is a string literal that is prefixed with the letter f. Inside an f-string, you can include expressions that are enclosed in curly braces. These expressions are evaluated at runtime and the result is inserted into the string. Here's an example. In this example, the variables name and age are included in the string using curly braces. The variables are evaluated at runtime and their values are inserted into the string. You can also use the format method to format the output of variables. In this example, the format method is used to include the variables name and age in the string. In Python, a global variable is a variable that is defined outside of a function and can be accessed from any part of the program, including inside functions. Global variables can be useful when you need to store data that needs to be accessed by multiple functions or modules. To create a global variable, you simply define it outside of any function. In this example, the variable x is defined as a global variable and can be accessed from anywhere in the program. To access a global variable from inside a function, you need to use the global keyword. The global keyword tells Python that the variable is a global variable and should be accessed from the global scope. In this example, my underscore function accesses the global variable x using the global keyword. You can also modify the value of a global variable from inside a function. In this example, the value of the global variable x is changed to 20 inside the function my underscore function. However, you should be careful when using global variables because they can lead to bugs and make your code harder to understand and maintain. It is generally a good practice to limit the use of global variables and instead use local variables inside functions whenever possible. In conclusion, understanding Python variables is essential for anyone looking to code in Python. Variables are containers that hold data values, which can be manipulated and processed using Python code. It is important to use meaningful and descriptive names for your variables, as this will make your code more readable and easier to understand. Python also allows you to assign multiple values to variables simultaneously, which can save time and streamline your code. Additionally, outputting variables is an important part of debugging and testing your code, and you can use print statements to do this easily. Finally, global variables can be used to store data that is accessible from anywhere in your code, but it is important to use them judiciously to avoid creating unnecessary complexity. With a good understanding of Python variables, you can create powerful and efficient code that can solve a wide range of problems.